Over the past 20 years, I've helped thousands of health practitioners grow successful online health coaching businesses. But the reality is that building a business online is harder than ever before. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through 9 harsh realities that you need to be aware of if you actually want to succeed in business as a health professional this year. All right, guys, welcome back. Uriel King, your CEO and founder of Healthpreneur. Again, we help health practitioners build transformational coaching businesses online without the grind. And what I'm going to share in this video is really the journey from 0 to 1. So $0 to $1 million in revenue. Beyond that, there are other harsh realities that I'll save for a later date. So first and foremost, there are 4 growth killers you have to be aware of. So if you're not able to grow your business, you're not getting clients, you're not generating the revenue you want to generate, there are 4 what I call growth killers behind that. Number 1, people don't know you exist. Okay, so that's the single biggest problem, the biggest danger you're facing is obscurity. Number 2 is they know you exist, but they don't understand what it is you do or what you offer. That's a messaging issue. It's a lack of clarity. Third is they understand what it is you offer, but they simply don't want it. That's an offer issue. And 4, they don't trust you. That's a trust issue. If you don't solve for all 4 of those, you're going to have a very tough time enrolling clients and building your business. So I wanted to preface this by sharing that. And with that said, let's dive right into these harsh realities. So the first one, this is especially true if you're coming from a brick and mortar to online, or if you think that building an online business is kind of like passive income, set it and forget it. It's not. I talk a lot about automated systems and leverage and things that will do more work for you, which is 100% true. But you also do have to maintain the garden. Like you have to look at the stuff. You have to do some work, okay? So the first harsh reality is that the field of dreams doesn't exist online. If you build something, they will not come. So you have a clinic, people walk down the street, they see your clinic. You have a website, no one knows you exist. There's trillions of pages on Google, you're not gonna get found. And the sooner you recognize that, the sooner you will move forward with your growth in your business, and you'll stop wasting money on stupid websites that no one is going to see. I see so many health professionals think that they have to have a pretty website. You're like, you don't. Just because your brick and mortar has a website, which in some cases obviously makes sense, you don't need a fancy, pretty website online because no one's gonna see it. So that's the first thing. You have to understand that the amount of work that goes into building a business online is significantly greater than a brick and mortar because of this obscurity piece. But I'll tell you this, it's 1,000,000% worth it, because the problem with a brick and mortar, whether it's a gym or a clinic or whatever, is you have a 4-wall prison, right? It's like you get paid when you work, you don't get paid when you don't work unless you own the clinic and you have practitioners underneath you, which is fine. But the reality is that a lot of people come to us because they don't want to be stuck in one spot. They want time and location freedom, and that's great. You can impact so many more people online. You can do things that are more transformational, but you have to understand that it's not easy. Okay, it's much, much harder. And, I've been at this for a long time and I've made so many mistakes and I've had so many sleepless nights and I've obviously had a lot of success in the process too. But I want you to understand, just like I want to preface this video by sharing that how hard this is. But just like raising kids is hard, right? Becoming, like incredibly fit is hard. Like achieving anything great in life isn't easy, but those are the most worthwhile things. So I want to just, again, set that context. So the field of dreams doesn't exist online. Number 2, no one is seeing anything you post. Now, if some people do see what you post, cool, but it's a very small percentage, right? And like, listen, if we look at Instagram, and I've created other videos around what we've noticed on social media, for instance, Reels will be shown to more non-followers, more of the carousel type of post will be shown to followers. So you obviously have to dig into your data and look at what's working and what isn't. But generally, most people struggle growing organically because it just takes so friggin' long. But here's the thing is, if you're just starting out and you have no experience, you have no clients, you have no proven track record, you have to earn your stripes. And I don't recommend you run ads if that's the case. So you have to be okay with the fact that you have to create content en masse, consistently, day after day, month after month, potentially year after year. Because what you lack in experience and confidence and the ability to take risk, you have to make up in time and personal effort. So you have to create a lot of it over time and look at what's working, what isn't, do more of what is, less of what isn't, and you learn and course correct and you keep going, you keep going, you keep going. Yuri, when's it gonna work? I don't know, but you just keep going. But that doesn't sound great to me. Cool, don't do it then, I don't care. But if you say you want this dream, you have to be willing to pay the price. So when we started this YouTube channel, we were 4 years into the business. So when I started Healthpreneur, we did nothing other than our perfect client pipeline, paid ads, the whole bit. And then about 3 years in, we started Instagram organically because 2 of my clients were like, hey, you should really be on Instagram. And then about a year and a half, 2 years later, we started this channel. Now, the first year of this channel was like a public Dropbox. There's no rhyme or reason. There's videos that are way old that are just like, I don't even know how we posted them. But when we sat down and said, why don't we put some effort into this? Because I'm like, my previous business, we crushed YouTube. I mean, it was the biggest driver of our business. So I'm like, well, what if we put the same amount of effort into this? And I sat down at the team and I said, guys, I'm going to let you know this, okay? I do not care what comes from this channel for the next 5 years. I don't. We don't need to generate any business. I don't care about calls to action. That's why I don't have any calls to action in my videos. Like I'm like, most of my videos, like 99% of them, I don't say, hey guys, if you want this free report, click the link below. I'm like, I don't care. Like you can look in the description. If you want to take the next step with us, there's probably some links. But all of my videos are just, if you've enjoyed it, subscribe. That's it. My intention here is to play the long game. So I share this with you because I'm willing to play the long game on content because I don't need content to grow my business. But if you do rely on content, then you have to understand, like, it's going to take time. You may have to have another job in the process while you're like building this thing out. And I'm like, I don't care. Like, I don't need to know what the views are like, what the impressions, what the subscriber count. Like, yeah, we look at that stuff, but it doesn't change the fact that I'm going to show up and share what I believe is the best, most valuable content with you. I'm doing this because I love to do this. And I think it's important. And I know, here's the thing. I know that the cream will rise to the top. And I know that this channel will achieve or help us achieve the goals that we have, which is to transform the lives of 1 billion people, to empower more health practitioners, to empower their clients so that they can become the doctors of the future, that we can fundamentally disrupt a broken sick care system by helping you guys build coaching businesses that are fundamentally transformational in nature. I know that's going to happen. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I know that this is the important work that's going to move us in that direction. So you just have to keep at it. Like, you got to keep going. It's not going to happen tomorrow, and it's not going to be easy. No one's going to see what you post. I had videos on this channel that I'm like, it's a great video. I don't see why more people don't know about it, but it's the reality, right? It is what it is. I'm not going to cry about it. I'm just going to keep going, learn what I can, and we keep creating. The third harsh reality here is you have to understand that very much like with your organic posts and your emails and pretty much anything else you create, most of the stuff you put out online is not going to convert. It's not going to work the way you want it to. It doesn't matter if you have someone writing them for you, or if you have an agency you're working with, or if you're writing them yourself. Most ads are not going to work, and that's okay. You learn from them, you course correct, look at aspects that are working and what aren't, and you just keep doing a better job, just like you would with your content. If you don't know what to look for, then you should probably work with someone who does. Especially if you're running ads. I would never run ads without mentorship, to be honest. It's the fastest way to lose money. For instance, if you work with us, and obviously we're helping you run ads in our high-level coaching program, and if you don't show up to the coaching calls, and you don't get feedback on your metrics, and you don't understand what you're doing, that's 100% on you. Like, if your ads don't perform, like, we're here to help you. But if you don't lean in for the coaching, how on earth are we supposed to improve the situation? Right? Like, we know our process works, but if you don't, then nothing's going to work. So your ads, you have to be willing to write. And this is important. Don't expect to just set up a system and sit back and chill and sip Mai Tais. It's not happening, okay? It's like this whole passive income bullshit. I don't have to work for anything. It doesn't exist. Again, our whole premise is that you should work smarter, not harder. Typically, our clients work 25 to 33% fewer hours, but that doesn't mean they're working nothing. If you worked 80 hours a week, I'm saying we're going to help shave off about a quarter of those hours. So if you're working 80 hours a week, hey, if we got it down to 40 or 50, okay, that's a pretty big improvement. But I'm not saying going from 80 hours a week to nothing. That's just fucking delusional. So you have to understand that if you're especially building something from scratch, it's going to take work. It's going to take effort. Yes, you're going to build out systems and assets that will work for you in the long run, but not if you just give up after the first week, not if you don't put in the work to build them, okay? You have to be delusionally optimistic, not delusional. So most of your ads are not going to work. You have to keep writing, you have to keep testing, you have to see what works, and you keep just evolving. We have clients that have somehow had their first ad run the whole business for the first year. I'm like, please, write my ads. It's amazing. But most times, 90% of the stuff you put out there is simply not going to work. The fourth thing. So again, this is specific for a coaching business where you're getting people into a higher premium, like a higher ticket premium service. You're selling something for 2,000 plus. You're having to speak to people on the phone most likely. If you're running ads, be prepared for this fourth harsh reality. Your show-up rates are going to be shit. I don't know like what happened to humans after COVID. Pre-COVID, show-up rates in our business were like 80%. Right after COVID, just tanked from ads specifically. And we have a very, very rigorous show-up process. I'm like, what are we missing here? And it's like, it's not that like someone books a call and like we don't do anything. Like we teach our clients this as well. It's just, there's a couple things that I think have happened. There's more skepticism, less trust. There's much more competition in the coaching space. So everyone's like, looking at, different options and, no one wants to be sold anything. So like, obviously there's a couple things going on here. So please understand that when you're running ads to people who already don't know, like, and trust you, they're cold prospects. They don't give a shit if they don't show up on a call with you. They don't care about you. They don't care if you hired a nanny for an hour for the kids while you take a call. They don't give a shit. All they care about is themselves, just like you care about yourself, right? Let's just be honest. We're all operating in our own selfish interest. That's it. So your show-up rates are going to be terrible from ads. Let's call it 50%. If you're getting anywhere close to 70%, that's a home run. From organic, it's going to be better. Why? Because people already know, like, and trust you. So your organic show-up rates are going to be higher. Paid ads are going to be lower. Does that mean you should focus all your time on organic? Not necessarily, okay? But it's just the reality is like your show-up rates will most likely suck. And what do you do about that? Again, I don't have any tissues on my desk here, so I can't support you in that fashion. But what I can share with you is you have to understand, why aren't people showing up? Maybe they don't want what it is you have to offer. Maybe they feel you're going to push them into buying something they don't like. You have to understand these nuances of what is going to get people to show and not. And you have to make the reason for showing up on a call more valuable than if they didn't. And these are all things you can learn. It's not that like people are broken. It's not that your system's broken. It's not that like the world is broken. It's you just have to be better. You're not good enough yet. The world of coaching has become more competitive. And one of two things is going to happen. You're going to cry about things not working out and you're going to give up and you're going to point fingers, or you're going to say, I'm going to get better. That's it. Those are your only two options. Okay. Like, welcome to life as a human. So show up rates, obviously there's things you can do to improve that, but they will not be great, especially from ads. Okay, the fifth harsh reality, especially with ads, is the more you put yourself out there, the more hate you will get. I get so much shit on my ads, it's hilarious. We delete most of the comments, right? Because it's like, this is not even valuable to the conversation here. And I get people saying like, hey Baldy, you don't look healthy. I'm like, what does that have to do with the context of this ad, which has to do with helping you grow your business, right? So like, you have to ignore stuff like that. And this is hard because all of us want to be liked, right? It's the single biggest reason that's going to kill us in business is wanting to be liked by other people. You just have to have this really thick, callous skin. Like, I don't care what people say about me, to be honest. Like, especially people who don't know me, it doesn't bother me. Like, you could call me the craziest of names. You could insult me with whatever you want. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. Like, nothing. Like, you could say, this is the worst video I've ever watched, you piece of shit. Go, like, I'm like, I don't care. Like, delete the comments. Like, I appreciate anyone who's ever left a very, very lengthy comment, especially on one of my ads, that they put all this time and effort into, and then we just hit delete, gonzo. I'm not entertaining any conversations, and neither should you. So if people leave heat and hate on your stuff, it's simply a byproduct of being visible. If you want the easiest and most surefire way to never deal with any negative backlash, is just play small, hide in your cave, don't put yourself out there. That's the 100% surefire way of never dealing with that stuff. But as soon as you put yourself out there, you're going to deal with stuff, right? You're going to deal with people who don't know you, saying stuff they think they know about you, and don't take it personally because they don't know you. And to the degree that you take things personally is the degree to which you agree with them. So if someone says you're a scam artist and you get defensive about that, then at some level you believe that. That's for you to work on. And I understand, like, when you're starting out, it's hard, right? Because you want to be like, why would people say this about me? Welcome to the world of the internet, okay? And you have to remember that all the hate that they're giving you is either going to do one of two things. It's going to be ignored or it's going to detract you from your vision. You think like you can't let some troll hold you back from your bigger vision. And you're also only seeing the visible comments. What you're not seeing is what I call the invisible metric, which is the hundreds or thousands of people who saw your ad and were like, cool, awesome. Or they clicked on your ad and took the next step with you. You don't see those people. You only see the people who leave the stupid shit. Don't pay attention to these guys. I promise you, okay? Even if it's a lot of them, just ignore them. Like, not my people, not my people, not my people. Do you think if you're a politician, 50% of the country is going to be against you? Does that mean you're going to be like, oh, I'm going to be a liberal and a conservative, a Democrat and a Republican? No, you take one side. This is what I stand for. If you don't agree, then fuck off, right? Like, all the best. I hope you like whatever. It is what it is. You can't please everyone. But first and foremost, you have to please yourself. And I know that probably didn't sound right, but you have to be committed to your bigger vision. You have to be committed to what it is you're doing and know that in the core of your being that you're doing good work. But as long as you're doing the very best you can, and not your intention, but your actions to do the best you can, then you're doing good work. And if stuff happens, you learn from it and you course correct to constantly get better. Okay? So number 6, let's say you're running whatever type of funnel, right? In our case, like a perfect client pipeline, or in your case, whatever it might be. And let's just talk about ads for a second. You're probably not going to get a lot of calls booked. You might not. So again, 2 options. You set up your pipeline, your funnel, and people book calls with you, discovery calls, or they don't, or the percentage is not what you want it to be. Okay, cool. So just expect the best, prepare for the worst. This is the conversation I have with my clients every week. Hey, you ready? Here are my critical numbers. I'm like, cool, where do you think the constraint is? Or like, cool, I'm not getting enough calls booked. I'm like, okay, cool, that's obviously a constraint. Why do you think that people are not booking calls with you? So let's break this down. So your ad spend is $100. You spend $100, how many calls are you expecting? It's not gonna happen. If you spent thousands of dollars and no one has booked a call with you, we have a different story. Why don't you think people are booking a call with you? I don't know. And this is where you got to put the detective hat on. The reason people are not going to book a call with you, if we go back to the 4 growth killers, so they know you exist, right? They know you exist and they understand what it is you have to offer. They got that. Okay. So we have growth killer number 1 and 2. We're good. We got those. Number 3 and number 4. They understand what you have to offer. They just don't want it. Or number 4, they don't trust you. Period. End of story. If no one's booking calls with you, it's because they don't want what it is you're offering or they don't trust you. That's it. You have to take personal responsibility for everything that happens in your life. Okay? I did this thing, it didn't work. Well, hold on. Like, it works, but what is it about what you did that didn't work? Maybe you're offering something people don't fundamentally care about. That's an opportunity to improve your offer. Because if you make a better offer, then I promise you more people will take it. So as an example, I was talking with one of our clients. He works with tennis players. His calls booked was a little bit low. And I'm his perfect client because I'm obsessed with tennis. And I would consider myself a pretty good tennis player. So I look at his landing page and I'm like, yep, speaks to me for sure. And then I'm like, okay, cool. So talk to me about like, what's the offer of their call? Like when you're offering someone to book a call with you, like why would I show up on the call with you? And so we talked a little bit about it. And I said, have you ever considered doing some kind of like video analysis? Like if you had a prospective tennis player send you a 30-second video of them hitting the ball, and then you could actually do an analysis of that on the call with them to be like, hey, look, looks like your forehand is like actually not finishing properly, or your backhand, whatever. I said, as a tennis player, I would find that extremely valuable. And as a result, if we had that conversation and you're like, hey, I noticed 2 things in your video that you sent over, which by the way is 30 seconds, not 30 minutes. So you can very easily see technique and so forth. It might be like, hey, your footwork, like it's just a little bit sloppy. We would fix it like this, your backhand, whatever. Right away, I'm like, oh shit, that's super valuable. So now I have more trust in this provider. And then secondly, I might be more willing to work with them. But at the very beginning, I'm much more willing to book a call if I see more selfish inherent value or benefit in doing so. So again, Like, you have to understand that it's not like out there that gets that, like, those things are not working. It's your thing. No one gives a shit about it. Your offer sucks. Your message is unclear. They don't trust you. Fix this stuff. Okay. So when you fix that, more people will start booking calls. And that leads us to the seventh harsh reality is you might, again, in the context of paid traffic, organic, this will be a little bit less. You might go 0 for 10, 0 for 15, 0 for 20 before you enroll your first high ticket client. What does that mean? You need to improve your selling skills. Like, this is the single most important thing I help our clients build, because I realize, hopefully you do as well, is in this type of business, the biggest leverage point you have is your pricing. And second, your ability to get people to pay you that price. So your selling skills. I had a client who went 1 for 35, right? So one enrollment out of 35 calls. And I'm like, oh my God. So I'm looking at her numbers, all of her numbers are amazing. And it can be so easy for her to be like, this doesn't work. And I'm like, what is going on with these calls? Are they all just like kids? No, like they're half of them at least are prime right fit clients. And I'm like, can you bring one of your calls for us to review on my sales call review? So she does. A couple of days later, she shows up. We look at the call in the first 10 seconds. I'm like, oh, fuck. Okay. I understand why this is happening. So we gave her some really basic one thing to focus on. 3 hours later, she posts in the group. She's like, I just enrolled my first painful client after taking Mary's advice. The next day, she enrolled another one. I'm like, oh my God, can you imagine if you had brought this after your first call? And what happens, at least in our case, I'll just share, because you might be feeling this too, some of our clients are hesitant to bring their first call because they're embarrassed. I say, fuck the embarrassment. Do you want to lose tens of thousands of dollars in ad spend because you're embarrassed to get me to review your call? Or would you actually like honest feedback to improve your selling skills so you can turn tens of thousands of dollars into hundreds of thousands in revenue and helping more people? Right? So if you're not able to enroll clients, it's because you have to improve your selling skills. It's not a numbers game, it's a skills game. And I have a very strong philosophy around this. I do not believe your coaching offer should be irresistible. It should be expensive, it should be hard work, and you should be fucking honest with people about that. And if they don't like it, ciao. Go take some pills. Go take Ozempic. Go, whatever you want to do. In a coaching relationship, you and the client have to be 100% all in together, period. You have to get better at selling. And please understand that when I say selling, I'm not talking about pushy salesy. I'm literally talking about the complete opposite. I am saying if someone's like, well, what's the guarantee here? I'm like, well, I don't know. I mean, why do you think you'll succeed with our help? I mean, we've got the track record. It doesn't seem you do. I just want to, like, how are you going to show up and ensure you win? This is what I'm talking about. I'm constantly pushing people away. And if they can't take that because they're expecting me to do everything or expecting you to do everything, good. We don't want them as clients. When you get people who enroll with you who fully are aware that it's going to be challenging, but a bit easier with your help, and they understand, the whole roller coaster, they're going to be way better clients than someone who's been sold or pushed across the line reluctantly just to make the sale. Okay. So understand that from cold traffic, people who don't already know, like, and trust you, your close rate's going to be terrible, most likely, unless you're incredible at sales. Organically, you'll probably enroll more people. So when people come to us and like, hey, what's your close rate? They're like 85%. I'm like, let me guess, like friends, family referrals? Yeah. Organic? Yeah. Okay. That aside, what's your close rate from people who've never heard of you? Different story. You have to build a skill set. The two reasons people are not going to work with you, they don't want to change, or they don't believe you can help them. That's it. If you understand those two core objections and you can handle those in all of your marketing and sales process, you'll do a lot better at enrolling more clients. Okay? But you have to learn this skill. It's the single most important skill you can learn. And if you're a practitioner watching this and you're like, Yuri, I don't want to learn how to sell, that's totally okay. I hope you enjoy what you see in your bank accounts. Number 8, some of your clients might not show up and they might not get results. So I had a client last week ask me, hey, Yuri, how do you, some of my clients are a little bit rogue. How do I motivate them to show up again? I'm like, you don't. You increase your price, period. If people are not going to show up, what are you going to do? You're going to bribe them to do the work that they say they want to do to get the result they say they want? Forget about it. Done. Obviously there are measures you want to have in place to make sure you're keeping people accountable and on track and so forth. And part of coaching is to help people do that. But what I would strongly discourage you from creating is a hand-holding type of relationship. When people are like, oh, I really want more one-on-one. Why? Why do you want more one-on-one? Oh, because I want someone, like if someone's like, I want somebody to hold my hand, I'm like, I don't want to hold your hand. I want someone who can win. I will give you everything you need, but this is not a kindergarten. This is not me wiping your diaper. I will make sure that you set goals and you cut those deadlines in half. And if you don't show up and do them, I'm going to keep you accountable to that. But if you don't do that, to be honest, I don't give a shit because it's your life, right? And so like, understand that you will have clients that don't do the work, that don't show up. What are you gonna do? Like, you have to improve your process for sure. Like, you have to get better. Undoubtedly, you have to pick apart every single piece of your client delivery, of your client experience, and look. And this is, I'm not talking about this is happening in a day. This is for the rest of your life. Is you are constantly getting better and looking at where people get stuck, where they drop off, where they get, disappointed or whatever it is. And you fix every little thing there, like an obsession. And then the second thing you do is you raise your prices. Because the more you charge, the more people are gonna show up. It's just a matter, it's just a fact of life. And if you wanna help everyone, you're not going to. So if you wanna, charge $100 and you're like, I wanna help everyone, I can't narrow down, but that's totally cool. Totally cool. Just don't be disappointed when your clients don't show up and get results. And if you try and chase people all over the place and you're overworked because you're charging little to nothing. So just be okay. Like, I used to take it so personally when my clients didn't get results. And then I realized I'm responsible to them, not for them. And as much as I love and I want every single one of my clients to succeed, I really, really do. I'm detached because I realize I can't get in their mind. I can't do the thing they have to do for themselves, right? Just like my trainer can't work out for me. He can't eat for me. He can't do what I need to do. All we can do is set up the right ecosystem and the right honesty in our messaging to attract people who are like, yep, I get it. I can't just take a needle in my leg and expect to lose weight. And that's the way things are going to be. Like, I actually have to change the way I'm doing things. And not everyone's ready for that. And that's totally okay, which is also why you're not going to help everyone in the first place. But if you charge premium prices, you position yourself as the best option, and you relentlessly obsess about improving your product, user experience, client delivery, more of your clients will win. Because at the end of the day, you're in business to help your clients solve a problem. The better the job you do there, the better your business will be. The better your business is, the longer it will stay in business. And the longer it stays in business, the better your business will be. Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, and the final harsh reality of building an online health coaching business is that 0 to $1 million is the hardest part. It's the hardest part of the whole journey. Hands down. Why? Because you have to learn, if there was a graph of things you had to learn, it's everything, for the most part, minus maybe leadership. You have to learn how to, number one, it's product market fit. So if your offer is not converting in the marketplace, you got to figure that out. And then you're not going to get to $1 million until that happens. So nothing else in terms of people, team, leadership, all that shit down the road is irrelevant if you don't even get to $1 million. You're not going to get to $1 million if people don't want what you have to offer. You're not going to get to $1 million if people don't know you exist. You're not going to get to $1 million if your messaging sucks. So all of this, your niche, your messaging, your offer, your selling skills, right? Your ability to produce results on the back end, your ability to step through uncertainty and kind of keep moving in the spite of over and over and over failures and things not working out. You have to be relentless. And sometimes for me, it took me 7 years in my first business to get to $1 million. I made so many mistakes because instead of focusing on one thing, I was focused on 100. So instead of finding a product market fit with one offer, I was like, well, that didn't work. I'm going to try something else. And I'd create another product and another niche. And it was a disaster. Instead of being just do one thing extremely well and just focus on getting it better. And that's why with Healthpreneur, we went from 0 to $1 million in 7 weeks because we did one thing extremely well and we relentlessly tested and improved it. And so I'm not saying it's going to happen in 7 weeks for you, but please understand that the 0 to $1 million is the hardest part of the journey. Most businesses don't make it that far. And that could take you a couple months based on your existing skill set, assets. It could take you a couple of years. We've had clients do it in a couple of months. We've had clients do it in 18 months. It can happen. It can definitely happen. It's not going to be easy. Okay. But please, just it's like you got to buckle up and you're about to go on one of those You know, those banana boats on the back of like a speedboat or something, where like you're just gonna it's just gonna be a bumpy ride. You just have to buckle up and be okay with that. And that's really the premise in this video, is please understand that building something great is hard. And it's supposed to be that way. I'm all for setting intentions. I'm all for like ease and flow. You can see a bunch of my other videos on like frequency and vibration and the kind of law of attraction stuff. I'm all for that stuff. I'm very woo-woo, but I'm also really, really pragmatic and rooted in reality. And at the same time, I'm okay with that reality of uncertainty, and I can move through that because I believe in myself, and you have to believe in yourself. Because here, and I'll finish with this, here's the only guarantee you have in life. Two guarantees. One, life is uncertain. Two, you're the only guarantee, period. Anything else you're looking for, you're absolutely delusional, and you will fail repeatedly until you understand that. You are the guarantee in life every single time. That's it, right? If you're looking for other people to take care of you, you're fucked. Whether that's the medical system, like, oh, I'm going to let my doctor heal me, you're toast. But I think you understand that that's already broken. It's the same thing with your business. Like, you have to take ownership and you have to understand that you are the guarantee. If you're not getting results, don't point fingers, point them at yourself and understand, what can I learn? What am I missing? What don't I know yet? What am I not doing well enough? Who can I lean into for support? Where can I get guidance and mentorship? Who can I ask for help from? You have to do that. Otherwise, you will struggle. And so those are the two guarantees: uncertainty in life every time, and you are the guarantee. If you believe in yourself and you believe you have what it takes to win, which all of us do, then you'll do just fine. But doing just fine doesn't mean it's going to be easy. And it doesn't mean there's going to be no sleepless nights and major moments of doubt and anxiety. You will experience all of that. Guaranteed. The question is the juice worth the squeeze for you and your dreams? High-ticket health coaching is changing, my friends, and I've seen some really interesting patterns and trends over that time. And what I'm seeing now is very, very concerning. If you miss this video, you'll be missing out on the most important thing that will help you stand out from all the noise and actually succeed with your health coaching business this year and beyond.